What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Enter the Lab as we go this week. This week in college football, chef kiss. Last week, shout out to them Alabama. I ain't even gonna say it. Go Dogs. But we got some great college football coming up this weekend. Also, did Aaron Rodgers actually do it again? He claimed he didn't, but we may have to go ahead and jump into that. Then we got some rookies starting. Drake May, Spencer Rattler. Oh yeah, the NFL is going down too. So make sure you stay tuned because we about to get into it. This is Enters the Lab. What's up, CHenry? What's up? What's up? What's up?
What's up, Lady E? Man, so happy to see your face. So happy to be here. I know when I see you on Thursday, I know the weekend is just a couple of days, a couple sleeps away. It's a couple sleeps away.
Exactly. It really is. It is a couple of sleeps away. My son on fall break, so I got company for the rest of this week until Monday evening when he goes back on Tuesday. So he over here eating up all the food, all the fruit snacks, and everything else like that. So he about to eat me out of house and home.
Doing what a growing boy's supposed to do. Just doing what a growing boy's supposed to do.
Lord. But let's jump right on in today. We got a good slate of college football coming up. I know for a fact my Bulldogs are going to play Mississippi State, so we're not a part of the big hoopla right now. But the big hoopla that's going down this weekend, you got the Red River rivalry. That's Texas versus Oklahoma. Then you got good slates with Ole Miss and LSU. Ole Miss already took a little tumble there. So can LSU give them 2 losses on the season? We got Penn State versus USC. USC did a tipsy tumble last weekend. Then you have Kansas State and Colorado, and not to mention Ohio State versus Oregon. Number 2 versus number 3. It is a good weekend for college football. Last weekend was a very good weekend for college football, as a lot of teams took a tipsy tumble down to, I guess you can say, their least Padres. Shout out to Vandy breaking their 40-year drought of beating Alabama. Shout out to them. I was a Commodore this weekend. But yes, it was some good action last week.
So hey, listen, I'm on the wrong side of the fence this week. I'm on the wrong side of the
fence. I mean, some people do lose at the bye. I'm looking at you, Missouri. Looking at you. So again, it was a great weekend for college football. Just give me some of the games that you're excited to see, and it kind of like what you're looking forward to, especially since your team is on the bye.
Yeah. My team is on a bye. I don't have any real plans for the weekend, so this is going to be a weekend that I can really sit down and lock in to somebody, to some of these other teams outside of Michigan and Michigan State. I'm looking forward to basically all the games that you mentioned, Ohio State and Oregon, of course. That's going to give us kind of a top 5 matchup, if you will. We're very much into conference play, so I think the winner of this game is probably going to be the leader of the pack in the Big Ten. Probably going to be the consensus favorite going down the stretch. So we'll see how it works. That Kansas State Colorado game. Colorado was definitely a polarizing team. I've said before the season that I wanted to see Deion win at least 7 or 8 games this season to show that progression, and they're 4-1 right now, and they've looked pretty decent for the most part. This is going to be another test for them. That Ole Miss LSU game, an SEC classic, if you will. Yep. I want to see if Brian Kelly can get a big win. If he can get a big win down there with the team that I think is still considered very, very talented. Mm-hmm. This is kind of a year that they're kind of reloading a little bit. So I want to definitely see that. And definitely, I got to check out the Texas and Oklahoma game. Texas, beat us pretty handily week 2. One of the most impressive teams that I've seen so far, currently ranked number 1. Let's see if how they measure up with Oklahoma in a rivalry game. So I want to see it all. I ain't gonna lie.
Look, I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm ready for it. I mean, we don't play until 4:15, so I got a good little thing to go there before we tune in, and I actually got to focus as we get ready to take on Texas the following week. So it's all excitement. We're getting into that late October, November run. It's getting close, baby. It's getting close. It's
and
getting close. People are starting to.
This to kind of give us a little jump kick for our draft. Well, for me, for our draft coverage, you know what I'm saying? We'll get familiar with some of these names, some of these college names, and we're kind of build up, you know what I mean? Because we go 24/7, damn near 365 here, baby. We going through the season, through
exactly.
the off. This will give us a chance to kind of get the ball rolling on some of those prospects.
Exactly. I do agree. I truly do agree. So we're going to switch over to the NFL because we do have a game tonight as well, Thursday night football. Oh, whoop, whoop. But let's first start off with the breaking news. Robert Saleh, head coach of the New York Jets, got escorted. I'm going to say that. He was escorted by security out the building. He was fired. A lot of people, want to blame Aaron Rodgers for it, that he has something to do with it. Again, we can point a lot of fingers out here and against whom the situation could have been brought upon. Again, they could have won the game in London. They really could have. The Jets could have stole that one away from the Vikings. But 3 turnovers is hard to overcome sometimes. Especially in the NFL. So again, for them to even pull as far as they pulled in, shout out to Aaron Rodgers for that and the squad just coming together. But what can you say about this firing? With Saleh, was it justified? Was it bound to happen sooner or later, or do you think that the owner and because the GM wasn't in on this, but do you think the owner just kind of jumped the gun a little bit?
I'm gonna tell you, I have no idea what happened here. To be honest with you, I generally say that coaches generally have 2 to 3 years to win in this league. I think he was in I think this is year 4 for him, and he definitely was not winning. But with that being said, I'm a little biased. I'm a little biased for Robert Saleh. He's from Dearborn, Michigan, which is a real close suburb to Detroit, not too far from where I grew up. He's been a very, very successful coach, one of the few Middle Eastern coaches that we've seen in the NFL. He has a little bit of that Detroit swag. Once told some folks, you know what I'm saying, if you ain't got no motion, you ain't got no haters. They were asking him about haters, and he let them know. You know what I'm saying? So he's a good defensive coach. When you look at them as how they performed as a whole, I think he was 20-36 in his tenure. So of course that's not good enough. But I also feel like he was never given the proper support, especially offensively. He didn't have a quarterback. He had to deal with Zach Wilson for 2 years, or a little more than 2 years. They went out and got an old A-Rod, but then he got injured last year, and then this year there's been seemingly a little bit of friction or a little bit of disconnect. And I don't know how much input he had on the offensive side of the football. When I look at them defensively, they did a pretty good job. The story being told is that they were told that they had to win in London. They didn't win. He was allowed to come back. I don't want to say come back home, but allowed to show back up. They could have got rid of him at that point. He was allowed to come into work. So the rumor is that he was, had intimated to someone that he was going to replace Hackett as the offensive coordinator. And next thing you know, he was the one being replaced. Wasn't even able to address his team, walked out the building just like he was, you know what I'm saying? Like they had caught him doing something crazy on the computers or something. So I don't know. I'm going to be real. I'm going to be looking into this story, not looking into it, but waiting to hear, more about this story to see kind of what went into the firing, if you will. But I'm happy that he got out of there, because what I see is a dysfunctional organization. The GM hasn't done a great job. They're still waiting on the Hassan Reddick trade, whatever's going to be the resolution to that. He hasn't been able to pick up, a good quarterback. He's had a couple of decent picks, Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson. and a couple of those guys on the defensive side of the ball, but they have had a lot of misses. So, for Salah, this may be a blessing in disguise. You get to get all your money. You get to, get a little rest and a reset, and possibly go get you another job either this year or next. So I think he's in a good spot. But I don't know if it was totally justified, but he did have over 3 years on the job and not one. So we kind of saw it coming.
Yeah, I mean, again, we all know the Jets to have a very dysfunctional organization. It baffled because, again, yeah, they were supposed to win. They could have won. They could have won. They could have beat the Vikings over there. But how much of it can we say, like, is it time for Aaron Rodgers to actually retire? Because, again, he has not been looking great. I get it. He's coming off an Achilles injury. Us as the Falcons, we're dealing with that when it comes down to Kirk Cousins. But Kirk Cousins has actually been looking good as the season has progressed and went on. He's still not comfortable on that plant foot, but he's getting the ball. Man just threw for 509 yards. So, again, what can we really say? Is it Aaron Rodgers? Was it the offensive play calling that was done? Because, again, everybody slated the Jets because they got A-Rod over there that they could win. But what can we really say? Is it really time for Aaron Rodgers to hang it up, or is he just having it was just very much a disconnect between him and his coaches? I'm not going to even say the head coach. I'm going to say coaches.
So I think that's a little bit of a layered question. If you're asking me, can Aaron Rodgers still play football? I think he still can play football at a relatively high level. I think he's still probably better than 12 to 15 starters in this league. I think he's a mid-level starter in this league. But with that being said, his leadership skills, he took that pilgrimage to Egypt or whatever to smoke shrooms or whatever he was doing over there for during the off season. That could have been a time where he could have been building chemistry, with those receivers and kind of building up, the bond with that team. When we look at Nathaniel Hackett, considered basically a very basic OC. I think they were one of the teams who did the least amounts of pre-snap motion in the offense, and just generally lacked ingenuity. So when you have a stale offensive package, you're not really fooling folks pre or post the snap. Then you're kind of regular. You're kind of average on the offensive side of the football, and that's what we saw from them. And they couldn't get over the hump. So I think Aaron can still play. I think they need a better OC. I don't know what this Todd Downing cat is going to do, but they need definitely an improved OC. Can you input some of those changes mid-season? I think that's going to be the challenge for that coaching staff going forward.
Okay. I mean, look, they haven't been in the playoffs for 13 years. So, I mean, it's all or nothing this year. I'm taking it with them. And I mean, their division is only competition they really have is really, the Bills. That's really over there. So. Yes. Yeah, exactly. So we'll see.
I got a question for you though, before we leave this topic. What do you think this situation does for the Davante Adams and his probability of being traded there? Does this stop that? Does this slow that down? I mean, who's in control, and does he want to even go to this type of problematic situation?
If I was in Davante Adams, I think he has a better situation if he just stayed with the Raiders rather than going over there to the Jets. So, I mean, right now could be looking at another team, to be honest with you. I mean, if he thinks that the Raiders are dysfunctional and the way the Jets are moving right now, I think the Raiders is actually a better spot for him than him actually moving over to the Jets. So I would say that probably will knock him down top of his list. Again, I know he stated that he wanted to go to a quarterback that's familiar. And that he's familiar with, because again, you don't want to have to learn a whole new quarterback and get that timing together when you already have that, chemistry with, Aaron Rodgers and even a Derek Carr. I mean, I don't want him in New Orleans, to be honest.
And I'll tell you this, and we can kind of transition to a Davante Adams question, if you will. I didn't have it on the write-up, but we can go in there real quick. Because you brought up Derek Carr and you brought up the possibility of possibly staying with the Raiders. And I have a question. I actually put that on the timeline. We hear that Baltimore could be possibly out of Davante's sweepstakes. We hear that Washington could possibly be out of the Devontae sweepstakes. We got the situation going on here with the Jets, and then we got Derek Carr, his buddy, with the oblique injury. He's going to miss multiple weeks now. So what happens if all of the suitors, supposed suitors, somehow disappear or fall off? Can he walk back in? Is he welcome back into the locker room of the Raiders?
I mean, to be honest with you, Raiders need to get the stick out their butt and just send them over there to Kansas City. Kansas City's the only team that's willing to give up a second round for him.
Whoa. You can't do that. They got now. Listen, you got to give me a first. Now you come up with a first and some change, then I send them over.
They only asking, but they're only asking for a second. That's the thing, because it's either like you said,
everybody outside of the AFC though, or the division. You can't get this guy to Pat Mahomes and your rival in division. That's like breaking the rabbit's foot. That's gonna be the reverse of good luck. I don't know about that one.
I mean, we all know they're not gonna do it, but it's either that or the. Look, the thing about it is, we already know that they're not gonna sit over here and gonna trade him to it. But if all else fails in it, like you said, if he's not welcome back in the locker room and there's nobody else that's willing to give up that much draft capital for him, it's either you're gonna have to stick with him until the offseason and then see what you could come up with in the offseason, or you got a team that's sitting within your division that just like, hey, we found out old buddy didn't tear his ACL, but he's gonna be out, and we trying to three-peat right now. But again,
he might be out some games next year too, because his mama didn't do him no favors.
Not at all. But yeah, I mean, we all knew about Gardner Minshew in the beginning, but I feel like the Raiders didn't plan for to come the Ravens, but the Raiders didn't plan with it. And I'm sorry to them and everybody else that was sitting in that position thinking they was going to get Penix and Bo Nix and everybody else all in a succession. I'm sorry, the Falcons kind of had to ruin your plan. Y'all should have did a little bit more if y'all were actually really gunning for a quarterback.
And that's my point. It was evident leading up to the draft, at least 2 weeks before the draft, that 3 or 4 of those quarterbacks were going to go in the top 7 or 8 picks. At the very least, you maybe you were getting a Bo Nix. You know what I'm saying? But to me, you waited. You were 13th. You weren't aggressive in terms of moving up. Now we're hearing that that they may be interested in Shedeur Sanders. We're hearing that week 6. So what do you have to do to get Shedeur Sanders? Probably be a top 5 pick. So are you tanking now? We got Devontae on his way out. Christian Wilkins got put on IR. Max Crosby, they've talked about possibly being a trade candidate at the deadline. So are we seeing them basically going to tank mode?
They could possibly do it, but then that's not going to look good for Pierce. To be honest with you, you inherit a team that you knew was not a great team, and you're supposed to build this team. And you didn't get a chance to do it in the draft, or your owner, your GM, whoever wasn't trying to be aggressive enough when y'all knew your main blaring situation was y'all don't have a quarterback. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. They took Brock Bowers. I wish they would have left my Brocky Brock and let somebody else get him. I really thought he was going to be a Kansas City Chief. I would have preferred that. At least he would have had a QB to throw to him a little bit. But at the end of the day, it's like y'all didn't do your due diligence. You should have known it was going to be a wrench to be thrown in there, that there was a possibility that your QB was not going to be there, and you should have made sure that your QB was going to be there. So again, I guess supposedly rumor has it that they had a pack. It was supposed to go JJ, Bo Nix, and then they were supposed to get Penix, or it was supposed to go Penix, JJ, Bo Nix. I don't know who, but it was supposed to go in that order. But you don't do that in the draft when you have other people that are gunning for the same thing that you're gunning for.
Especially when you had the unlucky 13. So that was their pick, unlucky 13.
Unlucky 13.
You can't wait there. Well, since we talking about,
especially when that it's a glaring need.
They also made a quarterback
need.
They went from Minshew, my man, Mr. Minshew, to AOC, which further signals to me that they may be on some real tanking type stuff out there. I don't know what's going on in Vegas, man. We supposed to be going out there to a game in November. I don't know. We gonna see. I may save my little.
I mean, be honest with you, it's people were saying that with the Falcons, they wanted to go out there to that game. I'm like, first of all, I don't like Vegas in the winter. Y'all can have that. Desert cold is not the cold.
That's right. I got you from the ATL. You know what I'm saying? Vegas in the winter is wonderful for me from the Midwest. It's wonderful.
Y'all got it. So yeah, no, but Raiders is going to be a very interesting team moving forward. It really is. Speaking of benching quarterbacks, Patriots just benched Brissett, and we are going to see a full quarter of Drake May. They're going ahead and putting the rookie in. Brissett looked good. I will give him that. He looked good at the beginning of the first 2 games, and don't know what happened after that. Do not know what happened after that. So it's good. I know some Patriot fans are pretty much happy to see that they get to start with Drake May and kind of get to evaluate him and see if he's really going to be their quarterback of the future moving forward. So we have that. Then we have another starter, and we're going to come back to the Patriots, but we have another starter that's starting for his rookie season, but it's due to injury. We got Spencer Rattler. So we have the old USC/Oklahoma QB actually coming out and playing from the New Orleans Saints. Not gonna lie, it churns me to say this, but he did look good in the offseason. I during preseason football with but
out of those two, he's the one that I'm a little bit more excited to see. I wasn't really high on either one of these quarterbacks, but when I look at New England, I know that they still need some infrastructure. I know that the offensive line needs some work. The receivers are very, very young. Ramondre Stevenson has been having a decent year running the football, but he has to hold on to the football. I think he had 4 fumbles in like 4 games. So they got a little bit more work to do. Spencer Rattler, a little bit undersized, but he goes into a situation where, first of all, they're competitive. New Orleans is in your division, very, very, very competitive division. He has a solid offensive line. He's got a solid running game with him if Kamara is going to be healthy this week. He's got a couple of receivers in Olave and Rashid Shaheed, as well as the tight end. So he's got some weapons. So I'm eager to see kind of how he works in this offense, how far along he's come. And to see if he can have some success. I know my boy Krim was really talking highly about Spencer Rattler. One of the only ones who was saying Spencer Rattler was going to be a starter in this league fairly early. So let's see what he can do.
I mean, looking at that, a lot of Saints fans are very actually happy about this. They're not a fan of Derek Carr. They're not. I mean, the thing about it is you signed Derek Carr for all that money. Yes, Spencer's going to come in. He's going to do what he got to do. He's going to show that he's their quarterback of the future. But they understand that the reins are going to go back once Derek Carr gets healthy. Like they're not going to bench that much money. So
I will tell you this. Derek Carr. He was looking pretty good in this Clint Kubiak offense. Now he's a little longer in the tooth in terms of football years. If you got a guy Spencer who is almost as good as he is and can give you a chance to win, a capable chance of winning, do you go away from the big money and try to reset your franchise?
But see, that's the thing. I think that he has a no trade clause. I will have to literally go back and look at that contract again. But I think he has a no trade clause. And then if they do get rid of him, they're going to be on the hook for a lot of money. Because I think the way that contract is set up is pretty much he has to play out those years to be able to not hurt the organization as a whole. So it's not set up like how we have with Kirk Cousins, like we have him for this year and next year, and then we can get rid of him after that. This contract is not friendly for New Orleans in that sense, without them really taking a big kick. Like I said, I have to go back and go look at the term and condition, but I think he does have a no trade clause in that contract. And then it's going to cost them a little bit more because I think his out is not until like 2026, I think. So it's going to cost them some money trying to move away from that. Okay. Thank you, Shamar. I thought so. Okay, I thought so. Yeah, he has an out next off season, so pretty much, and then the cap hit is still high. So yeah, they're gonna have to kind of sit on that really and think about that with that situation. I mean, again, he got a no trade clause. He can't trade him, so it's either cut him or play him. That's kind of where they stand right now.
And what pick was Spencer? Was he fourth round?
He was a second round for him.
He was second round pick?
Second round pick.
Okay. All right.
Because I really thought the Raiders
had expectations for him then. If not this year, maybe next. Maybe sit for 2 years.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, here's my, and I'm going back to the Raiders. I'm jumping back and forth. Okay. I thought the Raiders would have actually grabbed Spencer. I thought they would have reached for Spencer since he was still there.
In round one or?
In round one.
I don't know about that one. That one, Spencer in round one, that would have been.
I mean, like later on in round one, like if they saw Penix was gone, drop back, and so they probably could have got him.
So he actually was the 150th pick. I knew he was a little bit late.
Oh, okay, he was a fifth rounder. Yeah, he was. I thought he was a second round.
Fourth or fifth round. So I know he was out there for a little bit because, like I said, Krim been talking real high. I think Krim thought he was going to go in the second round. And I was kind of looking. I had a receipt. Like, I don't know about that one. But yeah, 150th pick. That, I mean, again, fourth round pick for a potential starter. Even if he sits for a couple years, that may be worth the investment. Mm-hmm. I like that.
Everybody thought the Raiders was gonna go for a quarterback. That's the thing. Like you let this man fall to New Orleans when that could have been probably somebody if Minshew didn't work out. At least you could have had somebody that could have possibly worked out. You know what I'm saying? So it just, again, back to Devontae Adams too. Is either you're in a situation right now with the Raiders, but do you want to be in almost a similar situation with the Jets? Because Aaron is not going to be there your whole career.
Yeah, and he's not. And that's a very valid point. And that was part of the reason that I hear that he left Green Bay, because Aaron couldn't really give him, a guarantee of how long he was going to be there. But I I'm not going to lie to you. We've seen Devontae chase the money and really chase winning. So I believe he will chase the money. And New York is a much more expensive place than Las Vegas. So not only are you going to chase the money, but you're going to spend more money to be there. So I think, there is a possibility that if Aaron is there for a year or two, maybe he does make that move, and he'll rather just suffer with his boy or in New Orleans, same thing. He'll go down there a little cheaper, a little cheaper cost of living. That might be the best move for him. Some good food, Essence Fest, right by the water. That might be a good move. Not too far from Houston, not too far from Atlanta. That's sounding better and better the more I talk about it. But we've seen him basically chase the money and not winning, so it really wouldn't surprise me either anywhere he goes. I want to see him in Buffalo. Clearly, Josh Allen misses that primary wide receiver. I would love to see him in Buffalo or with Baltimore as well. Like I said, they bowed out, and I would have liked to see him with Washington possibly too. Put him with a great quarterback, one of these young great quarterbacks, and let's see how much juice he has. I think a lot of folks think that he's kind of washed up. But I still think he got a lot of ball in him.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, D-Hop's still playing, so there's that. like D-Hop is still playing, so there's that. But now let's go back to the Patriots with Drake May and what happened with their quarterback situation. Now we know that the Patriots drafted May 3rd overall. They decided to go with Jacoby Brissett and sit May until it was time. Again, Brissett was very familiar with the Patriots, kind of knew that offense a little bit. Did start the season off very well. Again, he did start off very well. They got them a little win over the Cardinals, but it just started faltering after that, and they looked terrible last week. So What I know, and like I said, I know you said that you weren't too high on May. Again, I think a lot of people are not too high on UNC quarterbacks anyway. But but how do you feel about this?
I think it's going to be tough sledding. I think that they are so young on the outside. I don't think that the receivers are going to help him very, very much. They do have a veteran in Demario Davis, but or Douglas. I'm sorry, let me get his name right, Demario Douglas. But he's an NFL player, but I don't know how. I wouldn't put him as special or anything like that. Jalen Polk is a nice young talent. The other gentleman, I believe, is Javon Baker from UCF, is a nice young talent, but they're young. They still have to develop a little bit. The best receiver on their team is probably Hunter Henry. Offensive line still has a little bit of ways to go, so this can be an uphill climb for him. The good thing is they have a solid defense, so not too many games. If he doesn't turn the ball over and put the defense in bad situations, the games should not get away from him right away. So he should be able to keep the team in the games, but we're going to find out a lot about him. I don't think that he played on schedule very, very well. I thought he got rattled when he saw pressure. His accuracy and his footwork at times weren't consistent. So I think he needed some time to kind of, hone his skills and kind of, hone the fundamentals. So he's gonna learn trial by fire now, baby. You out there now. So hopefully he took some lessons, learned from Mr. Jacoby Brisket, and hopefully he doesn't get toe up out there. But we gonna see.
You call him Brisket?
Yeah, Tony. You know what I'm saying, Mr. Brisket, man, Jacoby Brisket. You know what I'm saying?
Mr. Brisket. I quit. Oh wow. But yeah, I mean, again, he had some good film coming out. A lot of people thought that he was a great NFL pro ready type quarterback. Again, like you said, this team is going through a rebuild. Kind of been going through a rebuild since Tom Brady did leave them in that sense. And right now, they just, again, like you said, he has to go out there. He has to get it. He has to play. He has to understand how it is, because this is their quarterback of the future. Patriots fans believe in him, believe that he's going to be what everybody, all the scouts, has basically put him out to be. So, I mean, I just want to see again. I feel like it's going to take the Patriots a minute, because again, you have to get him his players. You kind of have to build around him. Again, that offensive line is not as strong. I mean, they got a good defense over there, but I think it's going to be more so them trying to set themselves up for success on that offensive line. That defensive side, I really don't think that they're, add a couple of pieces here and there. But yeah, right now we're seeing the Patriots actually really go through a rebuild. Do you think that their coach is kind of safe over there? Do you think Kraft kind of understands what the situation is? Like, how do you feel about that situation?
We always got to be a little bit better than what everybody else is. I hate to say it, but I don't know. I don't know how safe he is. Mr. Kraft hasn't been in one of these type situations of sustained losing for a long, long time. I don't know if he's in this type of situation. Again, I say that, generally folks have 2 to 3 years to win in this league or show tremendous improvement, if you will. So say if you are a 3 or 4 win team, you got, 2 or 3 years to get that up to 8, 9 wins, somehow be knocking on the door for, playoff contention, or you're probably going to be, looking at the exit like Robert Saleh. So for Mayo, I think this year is going to be a development year. He's got his young quarterback. I know they're probably hoping that they got maybe lightning in the bottle, like a JD5 or Caleb Williams, or your guy Penix in preseason. He looked pretty good. He's playing behind Kirk the Jerk. But then Bo Nix, he's looked fairly decent. So I think it's just they're trying to see what they have. They have to evaluate him. He's got to get some trial by fire, but it's going to be very, very imperative that they steadily build and improve this year, because next year they can't be. To me, I don't think they can be a 4 or 5 win team next year. They got to be kind of 6 or 7. Competitive 6 to 8 win team, or Mr. Mayo may be in trouble.
Well, I mean, like I said, this is a question that's just for anybody, because as we're seeing a shift going across the NFL, like again, you're seeing all Our old quarterbacks that we grown to love over the past, you might as well say 10 years or so, are starting to kind of like fizzle out. We're giving way to a lot of the newbies, a lot of the new quarterbacks that are out there. I mean, how many? You got Derek Carr, Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers. Who else has over like
Joe Flacco's still out here winning games?
Yeah, Joe Flacco's still out here. So what? That's four quarterbacks that literally we know that played in 2013, 2014. You know what I'm saying? Like it's now the new guys coming in. Like, how much pressure do you think this is putting on like a lot of the GMs or a lot of the owners that kind of want that win now situation, especially like that of a Jerry Jones who has a Dak, who has a Dak, or even looking at Baltimore, with Lamar. I don't even want to throw the Bengals out there, but
I think when we talk about Jerry, we got to talk about him a little bit differently than some of these other folks, because the other folks who are, generally speaking, the other folks who are trying to win now, they've had some measure of success, or their quarterback is super young. Like you see, you brought up Baltimore. Baltimore has been in, AFC championship games, AFC championship games and AFC semifinal games. They've been around. They've been in the hunt. They've been winning the division. They've been in the hunt. And really, when you look at them, they haven't made nearly the investment, especially offensively. Defensively, they've won out to get some guys. But offensively, they haven't made nearly the investment that Jerry Jones has made in Dallas. I think Jerry is kind of on some, listen, I've invested into you guys to be a Super Bowl winning team, and y'all keep giving me first round exits. So this year, I'm going to pay y'all first round exit money and see what happens. I'm gonna switch it up. While some of these other folks, you know what I'm saying, are just, they're starting trying to build a team. There is always pressure to win. There's always pressure to win in this league. And again, that 2 to 3 years is kind of, my benchmark. I don't think the pressure is any different. I just think that if you're going to go get one of these young guys and you're going to get them early in the draft, you're going to be you're pretty much a bad team. And again, you've got a couple of years to turn that around. So that's where I think the pressure comes in. When you look at a guy like a team like your team, Atlanta, I think they did it. They worked it very, very, very smartly. Some folks didn't understand why they did what they did, didn't think it was the best move for them. But now you look at them now, they're competitive right now, trying to win games and getting to the playoffs right now. And they've got a young talent on the bench who's just steadily getting better, absorbing what he's learning from Kirk, who's a consummate professional, and also absorbing what he's learning from the NFL. And I think you can win that route, going that route. If you look at what Green Bay has done for the last 30 years, that's how they've won. So it's hard to win. You just got to set yourself up for success. And I think that was looking back at it now, that was a very daring move by your GM. Shout out to him. I know that's a brother's name.
Shout out to Terry.
Yeah.
Shout out to Terry.
Yeah, we cheer for everybody black. You know what I'm talking about? Until we play. Until we play.
Okay. But no, again, like I said, I'm kind of seeing it. I mean, you got to look at, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Like, look at them. They started off 0-4. What? They finally won a game. They won a game.
Yeah,
they won a game. They won a game. I'm tripping. Yeah, I'm like, look, that shows you right there. Like, but the reason why I'm bringing them up is they got supposedly a generational talent QB in Sunshine,
allegedly,
supposedly, and Trevor Lawrence, and we got them coming out the gate 0-4, and they looking like the old Jaguars back in the day. So it's like, how much pressure is it to win with these type of new age quarterbacks? Like, is the pressure big? Because again, like I said, I do agree. We do have to look at Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys in a different way. But can we say the same thing for the San Francisco 49ers? And this is going to lead into our picks. But can we say the same thing for the San Francisco 49ers with Brock Purdy? I mean, they're not looking too good right now either. What? They're 2-3?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. I will say this, though. When you look at them, right? We say, okay, we brought up Jacksonville. Let's look at that example first. Trent Baalke's been there, I don't know how long. he done won. He done won just enough. I'm sorry, he done won. He done lost. He done won just enough to keep his job. He done made bad hires of coaches. He done missed on draft picks. But there doesn't seem to be any pressure or he's on a hot seat. You know what I'm saying? So it's all good. So I think it really depends on, the situation. While a San Francisco situation, yeah, they went out and drafted Trey Lance. It didn't work out, but they put themselves in position with going out and drafting Brock Purdy. And it has worked out for them. And even though there's been a little rocky, they have some injuries, they're still a competitive and dangerous team. So I don't, and again, they've been knocking on the Super Bowl door for the last 4 or 5 years too. So it's hard to say anyone on their squad is on the hot seat either. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's just different situations. Your opponent this week, Carolina, they firing a coach every 2 years. So folks on the hot seat, as soon as they sit down, that motherfucker warm. So, so it just depends on really what you are, what you do. And what system, what organization you're in, and kind of how they feel about you, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, it's just when you kind of just look across it of the league and kind of look at the situations that a lot of these teams are in. It just, especially after this week, when you seen what the Jets did, like it just kind of makes you think, like, is the pressure really on to basically, in a sense, win now and not really let these younger guys get their feet wet, really? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, you throw them out there to the fire, you expect them to be what the scouting reports are matching up to, but we got to think college and NFL are two different things. Mm-hmm. Very much two different things.
I think you have to think about, do you have, or does the team have the infrastructure to bring or develop this talent, whether it be a quarterback or whatever position may be. You have to develop. This guy's not going to walk in your door most times and be an all-pro talent. You know what I'm saying? He may be good. Yeah. He may be, he may be good, maybe very good. Some of them may be raw, but some of them may need coaching and development. And do you have a culture in place to do that for those teams and for those players? It's just not going to happen automatically. It's just not going to be year 2 and year 3, and the switch is going to just come on. The light's going to come on for some of these guys, and they're going to be great. So you got to have all that type of stuff kind of in place. And I think that when you have teams like a Carolina and like, the New York Jets are kind of steadily churning the coaching door, you have no time to really set up and get that culture embedded. So it's not happening there. So.
Yeah, I agree. We'll see. But let's get into these picks.
Yeah.
And get these picks going. Because I know me and you both got to be somewhere.
Yeah. It's a hard stop tonight. It's a hard stop
tonight, y'all. But let's start with tonight's game. We got San Francisco and Seahawks. Mm-hmm. Cardinals, I mean, only won by 1. San Francisco didn't have a kicker. I'm not sure if they even actually have a kicker going in tonight.
I think they did. I think they signed somebody.
They did? Okay. Gives me
a little bit more. Somebody who ain't feeling no pressure. Dabo went into last week's game without no kicker. Didn't he? Now the GM, the kicker got hurt on like Friday. They didn't get nobody in there. They couldn't have been thinking about their job.
They couldn't have, because gotta have a kicker to win sometimes. But I'm going San Francisco.
I'm with you. Cisco. This is a rivalry on the West Coast. I'm going Cisco. They need to win because 2-4 is kind of ugly on them.
Yeah, that really is, especially with them trying to have Super Bowl aspirations. So I do agree. Jaguars versus Bears. This is going to be a game in London, so this is going to be a 9:30 a.m. game. Bears actually showed out against the Carolina Panthers last week. Jags looked okay in their first win. I will give them that, but I am going the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, I'm going to Bears too, man. Again, they started off a little rocky, but they won, I think, a couple straight. I think they're 3-1 or 3-2. Again, the NFC North, man. I think the only division with everybody's above 500. So,
yeah,
you got to watch out. They playing good ball, and we talked about Jacksonville. You know what though? Because that London game is kind of like a Jacksonville's home away from home, man. Ain't that Khan's little go-to? But I'm gonna stay with Chicago. I like what Caleb's doing.
Yeah, but I think Chicago got something to say though after that win against the Panthers. So we don't know. We're gonna skip over the Washington and Baltimore game. We're gonna say that one last. But we got the Cardinals versus Green Bay. Cardinals are actually doing a lot better than a lot of people expected. That win over San Francisco, even though, yes, they didn't have a kicker, it was by 1 point. But that win over San Francisco puts them in the conversation over there in the West. But I'm still going Green Bay.
Yeah, I'm keeping the gangster too, keeping the NFC North. We're going with Jordan Love and Green Bay. I need a big game from him. He on my fantasy squad. A lot of fantasy goodness in this game. John Connor, good start in this game too. Josh Jacobs, good start. But yeah, I'm going Green Bay.
All right. We got the Texans versus Patriots. I am going CJ Stroud. That is going to be a good test for Drake May, though, against that Texas defense to kind of give him a good meter of where he's technically and currently at.
Yeah, I'm going Houston as well. That's like homecoming.
Okay, Lord. Next we have Tampa Bay Bucks and the Saints. I kind of wish both of them would lose, but after that loss that Tampa did take against us, overtime walk off, I'm gonna give it to them. This that get back game. They got to get back into it. So I'm gonna go with the Bucks with this one.
Yeah, I'm going with Tampa Bay too. I think that this defense may be just a little bit too much for Mr. Rattler in his first start. Baker Mayfield playing at a high level, number two or number three fantasy quarterback, leading the league in touchdown passes in the top 5, if not, top 3 in your yards. So yeah. I think that continues. I know New Orleans has a, vaunted defense, if you will, but I'm going with Tampa Bay on the road over New Orleans.
On the road, they have to be on the road. they stadium is flooded right now.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. The prayers to everybody, man, who survived, and everybody. I hope everything comes together quickly for you. We're praying for you. You need anything, man? Let us know.
Yeah, gotta support the people down south, even though sometimes they can't drive. But that's another story for another day. We got the Browns versus the Eagles. This game is kind of tough because both teams are not playing at a high level that we expected them to be playing this season. But I'm leaning more towards the Eagles. The Eagles have to get back right in that NFC East if they plan on doing anything, because the way the Washington Commanders are playing right now are out, is magical. I'm gonna say that it's very magical. But gotta get back in while the Cowboys are down. That's all.
Man, I saw that Cleveland game, man, and I don't know what happened to Deshaun Watson. I don't know where that guy from Houston disappeared to. I don't know. I want to make a massage joke, but I'm not going to do it. Not today. But Philly, somebody got to get right. This is a get right game. Somebody got to get right. Jalen Hurts.
Somebody got to get right.
Deshaun Watson. AJ Brown is returning for this game. Also, Devontae Smith is back for this game. They missed the last game for a concussion. I think AJ was out for a couple of weeks for either a hammy or something on the lower extremity. But they're back, and I think they get right. Philadelphia in this
one. All right. We got an AFC South matchup with the Colts and the Tennessee Titans. I did expect a little bit more from the Tennessee Titans with Levis. I know he's going through a new coach, but it seemed like him and his coach ain't getting along right now. I'm not sure if Anthony Richardson is able to come back this week, if he's still out with that hip injury. If so, give me the Colts. I think Joe Flacco has a lot. They could have won last week. I will give them that. They really could have won last week with the Colts. He has done a lot of comebacks, but give me the Colts versus the Titans at home.
I'm gonna tell you. We talk about the young quarterback early in the show, and I really feel like this is a situation where A-Rod probably needs to sit, in my opinion, and learn behind Joe Flacco. I know they play a whole totally different style of ball, but there's some nuances that I think AR really, really needs to hone in on. I know some folks feel like experience is the best teacher, and they're throwing him out there. But I don't know if he gives them truly the best chance to win right now. He gives them the chance to win. He's exciting. But the offense just looks so much more crisp when Joe Flacco was out there. AR did return to practice today. This week, and I think he is slated to start. Tennessee has looked very, very bad overall. Levis is not really taking that next step. I'm going to go Indy, but I think it gets tricky if it's AR. I think Flacco starts. I think they win probably going away, but if it's AR, it's definitely a battle.
Definitely. I can agree with that.
In this game.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's gonna. I mean, it's a divisional matchup, divisional rivalry. It's gonna go to blows, but I do see where you're coming from, though. It gets a little bit more better if Joe Flacco's there. We have another division rivalry going on with the Chargers and the Broncos. Again,
it's gonna be the dirt ball.
Bo Nix has actually looked it good. I will give him his props.
I look at both of these quarterbacks, and I don't know which one is Bo Nix. I don't know which one is who. I'm confused. The boy wonder boy wonder they told me about, he averaging 145 yards a game passing. What happened to him? Where he at?
Yeah.
Jim just transformed him. He ain't even looking like JJ.
Look, with it is some question marks going on with the Chargers. Again, new coach, new system. Herbert has just not been looking Herbert. I want to say these past 2 seasons, to be honest with you. I know injuries and different things like that can foil somebody's season, but he has not. But again, Broncos are playing high. I know the Broncos just lost one of their defensive players, I think it was, to ACL this year. But again, I'm gonna give it the Chargers. I'm gonna go with LA on the road.
I'm going with the uprights. They're gonna be the winner in this game. It's gonna be a lot of field goals kicked in this game. The over under is 35.5. I'm gonna go 18-17. And I don't even care who wins. This one of the games I know I ain't watching. I know that.
All right,
we on that phone. I ain't got to worry about this
one. I'm dead. So we have the Steelers versus the Raiders. I'm going Steelers. Right now, Raiders is just not looking too hot, especially on that offensive side of the ball. So yeah, we are going the Steelers.
I'm gonna go with the Steelers in this one. Again, Las Vegas looks like they're shutting stuff down. No Devontae, no Christian Wilkins in this one. AOC is making his start. Yeah, I'm with Pittsburgh on this one. I think it's going to be a close game. Another low-scoring game. 36.5 is the over/under. Mr. Pickens hasn't really blossomed this year. Fields has been kind of up and down. 17. I go 17-10 Pittsburgh.
Lord Jesus. All right. We're going to skip over our 2 games really quick. And we're going to do the Sunday night and Monday night together. We got the Bengals versus the Giants, and then we got the Bills versus the Jets. This is a get back game. I'm going Bengals because they need to do something for that AFC North. They got to do something. And then because it's a divisional rival against the Jets, and with them having what they're going through right now, I hate to say this, give me the Bills.
I'm with you. Cincinnati, they got to get a get right game, and it looks like New York shows up. Daniel Jones has been playing well, but it looks like Malik Neighbors may sit out this game. He's missed the last 2 days of practice, so I'm gonna go with Cincinnati in this game, and they got to get right just to keep up in that AFC North. They're not keeping up, but just stay within reach, if you will. And I'm again, Buffalo. Yeah. I don't like the way they did my boy Salah, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm loyal to the soil, so you know what I'm saying. Hey, he had haters, he had a little emotion. They got rid of him, so Buffalo big in this one. Kick Buffalo big down, in this Buffalo. One. Kick them while they down.
I am so dead. All right.
One last note on this game. James Cook did not practice Wednesday and Thursday, so you may need a replacement for him. Ray Davis is the guy on their team you might want to replace him with, but he missed 2 days of practice.
Shout out to that Georgia boy. Hope he's feeling better. Our 3 games, I'm going to put all 3 of our games together.
Yeah.
We got the big one going down with Washington and Baltimore. They should have made that the Sunday night game, but never stayed here nor there. Game. Yeah, we got Washington versus Baltimore. We got the Falcons versus the Panthers. We got the Lions versus the Cowboys for their rematch. Give me, I know I'm about to get backlash for this, but give me Washington, Falcons, And Detroit, y'all better show out because I'm picking y'all to upset them Cowboys.
Oh, ain't no upset now. We favorite now. Hold on now. We ain't no upset now. We the ones. We the one. I gotta ask you. I gotta get a little bit of insight. Washington, Baltimore. Why Washington?
I feel like Baltimore right now is going to rely on the defense. They're going to rely on their defense. Normally, for me, Lamar has been looking good, but when you got a hot team coming in like Washington, is especially in my mindset is like when you think about it. Okay, it's Washington. They got a rookie. We can win, but Washington has been playing too hot right now. Number five has been showing that he's made for this team, that he's everything. So I'm gonna go with Washington. I'm gonna go with them Commanders.
I'm very torn on this game because I think it's going to be a great game, very exciting game. 51.5 is the over under. I see a lot of points being scored because the defense for both these teams, statistically right now looking okay, but when we look at them with the eye test. Secondary is a little bit suspect for Washington. For both teams. A little suspect for both teams.
Both teams, yeah.
Washington is giving up some yards on the ground as well. I just think both teams are going to score points in this game. I think Baltimore's defense is just a little bit better. I got 5 scores in this game, right? So I think both teams scored 5 times. But I got 2 touchdowns and 3 field goals for Washington. So that's 23. And I got 3 touchdowns and 2 field goals for Baltimore. So that's 27. I got a 27-23. I'm going to go with Baltimore just because I like their defense a little bit more. I think Lamar is hearing that noise, too, about this young man, JD5, who's supposed to be as good or better than him already. And if you're a real competitor, you kind of, let that fire stoke in you, and you kind of come out and want to show out a little bit. So I think it's a great showing from both teams. I think it's going to be probably one of the best games, but I'm going with the Baltimore Ravens. Atlanta, Carolina, hey, that's another homecoming game for you guys. Turkey Jerk just coming off 500 yards throwing. I know y'all feeling good down there. It's homecoming season all around. So I know they really turned up down there in the HBCU land. So I'm going Atlanta in that game. And then for us, Detroit definitely taking us in the rematch over Dallas. We owe them for 2 games, actually. I'm taking us in that game. It's going to be some points scored, 28-23, Lions.
You got the Lions. All right.
I'm disappointed.
Well, y'all,
don't disappoint me, boys.
Oh, Lord. Y'all, those are our picks for the week. When DT gets back, he'll give us the update on the score of who's winning. I'm probably still in the lead.
You're in the lead a little bit. We're gonna give you a profit. We trying to claw our way back in. That was a hell of a week you had last.
They trying to
out on us a little
y'all. Bit. Look, they trying to claw y'all, but no.
You stretched out on us a little bit. I said, damn.
I'm sorry, man.
I made these damn bets.
No, but no, like I said, it's gonna be a great weekend of football from college to the NFL. Also, this is how you know my birthday is coming up. It's basketball back on our screen. We got basketball preseason going on right now as well. That you know what that means. College is about to start up too, so y'all start getting ready or whatever. This is that time of year where it's gonna be a sports Christmas and Thanksgiving. Okay.
Let's don't forget the WNBA championships, Connecticut and New York. You know what I'm saying? A battle of the Northeast. You know what I mean? I don't even know who's gonna win that. Knocked out my aces. Why they do that?
Exactly. And then you got playoff baseball going on right now.
Detroit, stand up.
Detroit Lions. Shout out to I don't give credit to anybody within my division as well. But as long as the Phillies are not in the playoffs, we're good. Padres, I need y'all to do y'all due diligence and get them Dodgers out too. And then everything will all be made in the land. Okay. That's all I gotta say. My Braves gonna come back. We were injury ridden this year. but we coming back, y'all. Understand that. Don't let this fool you. The A coming back. But we'll see y'all next week.
We
love y'all.
Have a great weekend.
Bye, y'all.